Hello everyone, my name's David. We are at the Sunscape Resort in Curacao. This is our last day here, and before we leave I just wanted to put down a little video to talk about the things that we've learned from this trip, so that in the future when our group comes back here we can look back on this and try to remember some of the stuff that we've learned. This is the Sunscape Resort in Curaçao. This is where we've spent the last week and spent a week of diving, and it's overall been a really great vacation, and the diving here is amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about the diving experience here, just to sum it up, and also a little bit about the hotel and the facilities here, and just a couple of tricks that we've learned over the week. So let's start off with the diving. So the diving here is really good. I am just going to show you the diving hut real quick. So I guess not, never mind. So when you guys arrive, you'll be able to once you checked in, go over to the diving hut and let them know you're here. And if you haven't already filled in some paperwork, get that done straight away. That'll save you a little bit of time on the first day, so you don't have to get up quite so early. But the diving here is really good. Ocean Encounters is the dive people that we go with. They have three boats. They've all seemed to be pretty good. The boat we were on was excellent. The crew was excellent. Everyone was very knowledgeable. The diving was all very safe, and the guides were really good. So everything about the diving was really good here. There's just I guess one thing that people are going to tell you is just millions and millions of fish. The fish here is there's just so many. I've never been diving in a place where there's just swarms and swarms of fish all over the coral. The coral here is also really good as well. You've got lots of shallow waters, very close to the resort, so the boat trips tend to be quite short. You don't really need to go very far to get to the best diving spots. They're not trying to save gas. They really are really good diving spots, very close to the resort. So we tend not to travel very far. The maximum trip was maybe 20 minutes on the water. There's some good opportunities to do some service intervals, good places to go swimming. They can take you to the fort. So you can climb up to the fort. So that was probably one of the most fun service intervals we've ever done. They took us around the corner to Spanish Bay, and for one of our surface intervals, we actually swam from the boat to the land, and then hiked up to a fort on this island. It's an old Dutch fort. So that was a lot of fun. So there's all sorts of cool stuff you can do like that. There's some wrecks for people that like wrecks. So there is a old ship called Superior something or other. That is over by where the cruise ships dock. So if there's no cruise ships, they can take you over to that. That wreck is at about 100 feet at the deepest, and you can swim through it. It was like a cargo ship, so the top is open and you can just swim down through the top and through that. So that's good diving as well. I'll probably have a video posted on YouTube that I made of that dive. So that was very enjoyable. Just watch out that one, being 100 feet, you have to make sure that you check to make sure your air is going to be good, so that you come back with plenty of air. We did have a little bit of an incident where people were starting to run out of air, because when you get back up to the surface it can be quite choppy. It could take them a little bit of time to get you out of the water. But overall, diving here is amazing. I would say it's been great diving. So let's talk a little bit about the hotel, or the resort. So this is a Sunscape Resort. The folks that run this place also do a resort out in Cozumel. So I think it's Cozumel, yeah. So you might have already come across the company before. Here it is a larger resort. They actually have what I would say is probably 3 separate resorts, or possibly 2, that have been merged together. And you can tell this because the hotel buildings are different. They've got different pool areas and different restaurant areas. So you're going to have a number of restaurants to choose from. there is the Oceanic, which is a seafood restaurant. There is the place right behind me called the Blue Water Grill, which is also a seafood place. There is an Italian restaurant called Di Mario, and there is a hibachi restaurant, which I'm not going to try to give you the name of. So those are the 4 restaurants that you have options of here. One thing I will say, so this video is being made in autumn of 2021. It's possible that they were kind of short of staff, but not all restaurants will necessarily be open at any one time. The hibachi grill is not open all of the time, and the Oceanic is not open all of the time. So check to make sure what nights those are open. A couple of times we went to the Oceanic and found that it was closed when we got there, and no one really knew when it was going to be open. So try to check out with the hotel front desk staff about that when you get here. You cannot book the restaurants, so they do get kind of busy, but it's first come first served. They open at 6, so if you get there at 6 o'clock, it's going to be the first people that get there will get their names on, and you'll be able to be seated. But if you get there at 7, chances are you will not be able to get a table there, and so you might have to go to your second or third choice of restaurant on the island. I'm sorry, on the resort. So you can get there early or you can get there late. So they have a second service, usually about 8 o'clock. When people from the 6 o'clock dinner are starting to leave, there'll be an alternative one at 8 o'clock. And so you can either try and eat kind of early or kind of eat late, but don't try and get there in the middle, because there's a good chance you won't be able to find a spot. As I said, you can't reserve a table, but that is not true for the hibachi grill. The hibachi grill is only open a couple of days a week, from what we can tell, and that one you do need to reserve. So that one you can go to the concierge at the front desk, find out when it's open, and get a reservation for that. So that was the only one. That's also I would say the best the best food on the resort. Overall, I guess maybe I was a little bit disappointed with the food. Some of the restaurants serve the same thing, so even though you go to a different restaurant, the options are the same. Lunch was generally buffet style, and in a lot of cases it didn't matter which place you went to, the food was the same. I did miss one restaurant actually, and that's actually the main one that's always open. I think it's called World Cafe. That's where you're going to go for breakfast. It's not a bad place to go for lunch, and you can also go there for dinner, but it's not one of the nicer ones. But again, I guess it's probably a common kitchen, so a lot of the same stuff is going to be available there. But it does have some unique food that's not available at the other restaurants, so definitely check that out. And that one's easiest to get into. It's very rarely that one's full, so that could always be your later plan. But you know, that was possibly the weakest point was the food, and it could of course be due to short staffing, due to COVID. You know, we are still in the pandemic here, and so a lot of the staff were wearing masks, and we had to get COVID testing done every few days. So you know, obviously those things do affect what you see. But I mean, this is an all-inclusive resort, so it's very reasonably priced. So you have to have different expectations of what kind of food you're going to get compared to an expensive resort or maybe one where you have to pay for each dinner. If you do get fed up with the food here, there are options. So very close by, actually next door, there is another resort called I think it's Lion's Den or Lions something or other, and also right embedded in that resort is Mambo Beach, which is a kind of they call it a mall. It's not so much of a mall, but it is kind of like a little outdoor shopping area, and it's also got bars and restaurants on the second floor. I would recommend you walk over there. It's no more than a 5 to 10 minute walk, just up the street. So I wouldn't recommend like falling into the habit of getting a taxi here. Taxis used to be really cheap apparently, but now we're looking at $20 to $30 US wherever you go, even if it's just around the corner. So so just walk up to Mambo Beach if you want to try something else. They've got some great restaurants over there. I heard that people went to an Argentinian state restaurant that was just unbelievable, but you know, it was also kind of pricey. But there's also bars over there. So Hemingway's bar is on the beach. So if you just want to change in location, you can just head over to that place. That's also where Oceanic Encounters' main dive shop is. So at night the boats are going to be moored up at their main location, which is over in the resort next door. But they do have a dive shop here, or I shouldn't say a shop, but like a hut where you actually sign up for the diving and you meet every day to do the diving. So they bring over, our resort has one dock, so they can bring over one boat at a time and load people up. So the week that we were here, they had it seemed like all of the diving was being done from this resort here rather than the main resort where the boats are being kept. So that meant that there was 3 groups of people all congregating around the docking area to load up the boats. But they do it pretty efficiently. They bring in one boat at a time, get people loaded up, and then the next boat comes in. So all of the loading is going to be done. All the trips are going to start between 8 and 8:30 depending on what boat you're on and how early that boat is leaving. So that's pretty much when the boats start. Okay, so the final thing I'm going to talk about is basically, you know, what you can do when you get here. If you arrive with a big aqua hut group, chances are it's going to take them a little bit of time to get you all registered and checked in and get to your rooms. So for our group, it took maybe a couple of hours between the time that we got off the bus from the hotel and the time that the last people got their rooms. So for some people got their rooms pretty quickly. So for some people the rooms took a little bit more time. I think they actually had some problems with maybe like the computers going down, so it took maybe a little bit longer than it would normally have done. But there's stuff that you can do during that time. So if you want to have one person in your group go off and get drinks, there is a bar right at the end of the lobby. And you can also send people down to the diving hut and get yourself sorted out for the diving, and just let them know you're here, let them know what weights you're going to need, because they're going to load the boat with your weights every day, based on what you tell them. They don't just have a massive amount of weight on the boat, they have a little bit of extra weights, but you basically have to tell them what you're going to need. And you can tell them whether you're going to be diving air or nitrox. There is I guess a premium price for the nitrox, but if that's something you want to do, and you know the extra energy that you're going to get at the end of the day, or maybe you're going to be doing 3 dives, then get the nitrox. So those are options, but you have to tell them ahead of time. So that's kind of stuff that you can do once you get here while checking in. Another thing that's kind of useful to know is that there is a 24/7 coffee shop that is available at the lobby. So you can get a latte or a cappuccino, you can get a sandwich, you can get a cookie. So if you ever get up early in the morning and you want coffee, then there's going to be a place open. It is just inside the lobby, so the lobby area you do have to be wearing shoes and shirt, and you can't be dripping wet, otherwise they will stop you from dripping water all over the lobby floor, and they will try and get you to go and get changed. So just make sure you're kind of dressed for that. Other than that, there is no real dress code here. We were told before we got here that there was going to be restaurants that required you to be kind of dressed up, but I did not find that was really the case. There was nobody that I would say that was particularly dressed up. It's pretty casual. So even if you're at one of the nicer restaurants like the Oceanic or the Hibachi Grill, and you feel like it's an occasion and you want to dress up a little bit, that's cool, but you don't need to have like long pants or a long sleeve shirt. Probably just anything like this with a short sleeve shirt with a collar, maybe slightly dressier shorts is fine. Women don't need to have dresses or anything like that. And I never once wore my dress shoes, or not dress shoes, but like anything other than flip-flops, with the one exception of maybe the Hibachi Grill. and also the gym. So I had to wear shoes in the gym, of course. So yeah, there is a gym here. So if you like to work out, it is open from I think something like 5 or 6 in the morning till 6 in the evening. So those are pretty much the facilities that we've got. If I think of anything else, I'm going to talk to everybody else that's on our trip, and if they've got any other advice, we'll put that information in the comments below. But this is definitely a place we want to come back to. The diving was great. The people that run the diving were very good, and we would feel comfortable coming back here and doing that with them again. The resort is totally fine. The facilities here are pretty nice. Rooms were reasonably clean. Our room was pretty spacious but somewhat basic, but there's other types of rooms here, so I don't really know, but I didn't hear any complaints. Nobody had any major problems. Nobody got food poisoning. You can drink the water straight from the faucet, so you don't have to worry about like contaminated ice or lettuce, or cleaning your teeth with bottled water. So the Dutch islands here seem to be well sorted out in that regard. Aruba, Bonaire, Curaçao, I think they've all got clean drinkable tap water. So that's kind of nice compared to places like Cozumel, where you have to worry about those things. Again, all inclusive. They had good drinks. They did a lot of cocktails, but the beer was okay. At least you did have more than one choice. You had like a normal pale lager and also some red beer. So yep, I guess I'll leave it with that. Otherwise I could just keep rambling all day about some of the stuff here. I guess maybe just finish off with saying that they got some nice pools and lovely views. So we had a storm come through last night, but other than today, every day has just been beautiful, calm blue waters and blue skies. But it's a little bit cooler today, which is actually nice. So yeah, gonna finish at this point. Hopefully this video is useful for you. If it isn't, it'll at least be useful for me when we come back here. So have a great day, and hopefully we see you on some more dive trips.